This video is brought to you by Dr. Kristen R. Bromley's Guitar Method Book Series and Online Music Academy.
Dr. Kristen Bromley, welcome to my online academy. It's a delight to be here helping you with playing the guitar. This is lesson 40 in this series that is all about jazz guitar. As you know, I love jazz guitar and I'm so thrilled to bring this course to you. Now in this lesson, we're going to be looking at comping in the Bossa Nova style, which is so fun. One of the things that I love about jazz is that it basically is open to incorporating any genre, any style from around the world into the jazz style. So we end up playing so many different styles. At the university, I've had lots of students study with me who aren't necessarily interested in becoming a professional jazz guitarist, but who want to play another style. However, it enhances their style as they're majoring in music to study jazz, even if it's not their optimal goal. Because for one thing, on the guitar, it's such a virtuosic style. It gets us playing in ways that we would never otherwise play. So it's just really great. It opens us up to the instrument as a style. It opens up our ears. It opens up our understanding theoretically, and so on. So it just opens us up. But it's also amazing because so many different styles come into it. It actually can help us play in other styles that we wouldn't otherwise perhaps play in as well. So it opens us up to being a really well-rounded musician. So today, the Bossa Nova rhythm. I love doing the Bossa Nova rhythm. We've been working on some great chords in the last few lessons. These ones work really well when playing in the Bossa Nova style. I've got a couple of them up here on the board as a review. So if this is the first lesson that you're jumping in on and you're not familiar with these chords, I've got them up here. You could also check out the last few lessons for help with some really great jazz voicings. But I've just written them up here in the 1 major 7, 2, 5. You could come back to the 1. So I'm going to play B flat for that root there. So B flat major 7, then I'd have my C minor 7 and my F9, and I could come back to B flat major 7. So they're oriented in how they're situated next to each other on the fretboard. And then we could also do one off the other string set. So I've got E flat major 9 there with my root at the 6th fret of the 5th string, and then I got my F minor 9 to my B flat 13 back to that E flat major 9. So I'm going to use those chords. They're up there as a reference, but if you really want help with them, check out those last few lessons if you haven't seen those yet. So with the Bossa Nova style, which centers around the guitar is such a central figure in Bossa Nova, so it's super cool to be doing a style that is central around the guitar. The guitar plays the Partido alto rhythm. Now, with Bossa Nova and other Latin styles, usually have this pattern, this rhythmic pattern that just repeats over and over, and everything is incorporated around that pattern. And so we play that pattern on the guitar. And this is probably the most common one that we use in jazz, this rhythmic pattern right here, and it sounds like this. So it's written across 2 measures of what would be 4/4 time in the music that we play Bossa Nova in. And we're going to have on the beat, and then off, and then on. So 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. You can play that as much as you need to at different tempos. I'll slow it down here for a sec. 1, 2, ready, and 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. And I'll exemplify it faster, maybe even up at a samba tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool, pretty fun. Now, what do we do when we have 1 chord per measure? So I was just playing that B flat major 7 across both bars, and sometimes we'll have a chord that lasts across both measures of the pattern. But what happens when we get like 1 chord per measure? So like a 2 to a 5, for example. So what we're going to do here is we don't have a chord coming in right on beat 3, so we're going to anticipate across that bar line and bring that chord for the next measure in on the and of 4. So if I go back and forth between C minor 7 and F9, I would have on, off, switch. So I'm just going to do that a couple times. So you see how you bring that in on the and of 4. Just anticipate right across that bar line. On, off, off, on, 1, 2, and 3, 4. So, great little vamp happening there. Now, if I put it together, we could have 2 measures of B flat major 7, and then do the 2 5 back to that B flat major 7. We'd have 1, 2, ready, and then C minor 7. Isn't that really great? I love that sound. I love that feel. We could do it with this other set of 2 5 1s as well. So they're in E flat. I'd have 1, 2, ready, and now, a couple technique things. You can do this with both strumming, and you can do it with plucking, like I was just doing. So with the plucking, I'm going to go back to the B flat, the key of B flat there. With the plucking, I'm just doing a pinch. So you could check out lessons where I've done finger picking lessons on the channel. There's a whole series on finger picking that has its own playlist, so a lesson series there. And you can get great technique. But I'm just pinching, so my thumb's plucking and my fingers are like a one-handed clap. So I'm just pinching right in. Just grabbing each one of those notes and doing a pinch in the hand. So nice and finger plucked. You could also do this strumming. If we do it strumming, it's going to be all down strums, no up strums. So you can do that with a pick. I just did it with the back of my hand because I threw the pick down. So that's the most common rhythm, and that's a great one to use anytime we're playing a song that's in a bossa nova style. You just plug that rhythm in every 2 bars. This is the odd bar, that's the even bar, and you just play it through just like that. Now, if you had the chords going faster, which occasionally they do, but not very often with bossa novas, if you had 2 chords per measure, you would be forced to switch here with the and so if I create a little 2 5 and then 1, you'd have 1 2 off, and then you're kind of in trouble because the next chord needs to come in here. So this is where you run into a little bit of difficulty when you're doing this sort of thing. Just kind of work it through as best that it works. When you can anticipate, you do, but this is the only spot that you can really anticipate across there. Okay, now there is a variation that we sometimes do with this one, and I've got it written in here. Anytime we have this dotted quarter, we can replace it with a quarter followed by an eighth. So if I do that rhythm instead, we'd have dot do dot dot there in that bar. So just on the B flat major 7 chord, we'd have 1 2 dot 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 dot. So that's a variation that was sometimes heard here played. A few months ago, I had a guest artist that is a traditional Brazilian guitarist. Super, super fun. He actually had a lot of patterns that I had never been exposed to that come from Brazil, authentic Brazil, besides this one. He's like, oh, you just need this method and this method. Of course, they're in Portuguese, but there's more variations that exist. But as far as playing bossa nova in the jazz style, this is the most common sound, commonplace, common rhythm that we go to. There are some ways, though, with this to get more variation than just that switch up from that dotted quarter to that quarter and eighth there. And I'm just going to kind of run us through. Basically, you can start on any of the main beat points through. So beat 1, beat 3, beat 1, and beat 3. Some of these work out nice, some of them not so much. So we've got the one that we were just doing. If we alternatively started on where in that center of the bar and shifted everything over, we would have the and of 1, the and of 2, the and of 3, and then 4 quarter notes back to back. I don't really like 2 and 4 because the 4 quarter notes back to back, not really my favorite. But you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. If I do the 2, 5, 1 with it, you'd have 1, 2, ready, and. So that's how that one would work. Could create a variation with that one. The third one, this one does work nicely. We're essentially just starting and switching the measures. So on the and of 1 and then 3, 4, 1, 2, and of 3, and of 4, you'd have 1, 2, ready, and. So if I add in the 2, 5, 1s with that, you'd have 1, 2, ready, and. Now with this one, I didn't do it that way, and sometimes it feels a little tricky to do it that way, but it would be ideal to bring the new chord in on the and of 4. So you'd have 1, 2, ready, and. Pretty cool. That one works really well. Of course, we got this fourth one, the 4 quarter notes, not my favorite, but this rhythm here. So you'd have 1, 2, ready, and. And of course, I could throw the 2, 5, 1s in. So again, 2 and 4, not my favorites, not ones that I generally use. But besides doing the full 2 measure thing, you can just take a 1 measure option, and barring getting rid of the one with all 4 quarter notes back together, these ones all work well, meaning you can just repeat the first measure. So you'd have da 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 do da 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 do da. Throw in the 2, 5, 1, you'd have 1, 2, ready, and. Now this little piece here makes that kind of go a little fast. But number 2, you'd have 1, 2, ready, and 1. Come a time where that was nice to use. If I do that with the 2, 5, 1s, you'd have 1, 2, ready, and 1. That may work nicely if you're contributing to the groove more than setting the groove or laying it down. The third one, you'd have 1, 2, ready, and 1. and with the 2-5-1s. 1, 2, ready, and... But also then number 4 doesn't work so well. Now these, my favorite of course is that first one. Sometimes you might just want to break it up a little bit, and these are options to create a little variation. And of course the dotted quarters could be changed into that quarter followed by the 8th. Okay, so the Bossa Nova style, super fun. We play songs in the Bossa Nova style, so it's great. Learn this Partido alto rhythm, get down that classic rhythmic pattern, and you are set to go, especially with the chords we've been using in the last few lessons. So pretty cool. Now, a super fun thing to do in the Bossa Nova style, especially if we're doing just guitar and voice or guitar and another instrument, is to actually throw in alternating bass lines with it, and I'm going to show you how to do that in the next lesson. So I'll see you in that next lesson for that. Now these lessons are coming out on Mondays and Fridays. Right now we've got technique Tuesdays through Thursdays, and on Saturdays we're working on improvising in the rock, blues, and pop styles. Lots of great lessons coming out on the channel each week, and hundreds of lessons that have already been released. So lots of great help in all sorts of different areas. So keep having fun with this, take care, and we'll see you again. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. For more in-depth lessons and to progress through a free guitar course, check out my Guitar 101 series on YouTube and my guitar method books, which all come with access to hours of in-depth video lessons. You can find more information about me and my products at KristenBromley.com. Take care.